This is Rogers TV.
Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Oh, my goodness, we have a fantastic show. If you love food, you've tuned in to the perfect show because we've got 3 segments all based around food. We're going to talk about a couple of serious topics on the show today as well. But we're going to start in the kitchen and have some fun because the Canadian Culinary Championships are coming up January 31st and February 1st. But before that, they travel across the country with the Great Canadian Kitchen Party, and the Ottawa Region competition is coming up September 25th. And I have a former champion with me here in the kitchen. He's also the executive chef at the Canada Supreme Court, Yannick LaSalle, and Sylvie Bigra is a member of the Ottawa organizing team. Welcome to you both. Great to have you here.
Great to be here.
Thank you, Derek. Nice to be here.
Sylvie, before I get to Yannick, one of the reigning champions, and to talk about, what that experience is like, let's talk about these logistics and how it works sort of moving across the country in all these different cities.
Sure, there's 10 cities across Canada, from St. John's all the way out to Vancouver, and they all participate, as you mentioned, in a regional competition between September and November. And in the winner of each, so you have 10 at the end of that competition period, then qualify to go to the Canadian Culinary Championships. So in 2018, Yannick won the regional competition, went to the Canadian Championships in Kelowna, BC at the time, was declared Canadian champion, also won the People's Choice Award because everybody who was there loved his dish and the judges loved his dish, so that's why he's a Canadian culinary champion. So it's a pretty hefty demand on the chefs because they have to come up with something that wins regionally, and then they want to wow the judges again.
Tell me, how intense is this competition?
You work all year round to get to this point, right? You want to be organized and, as calm as possible. But, when the competition starts, it's drooling. There's not much sleep happening.
I could imagine. So, and there's different types of competition, right? And so walk us through, what are the different types of competition like exactly?
So 3 challenges. The first one is the mystery wine. The second one is the black box, and the third one is the grand final.
Right. And so, let's talk about some of those different competitions, because the mystery wine is kind of cool in that every single chef gets the same bottle of wine. Is that right?
That's right. So, like you mentioned, January 31st is a Friday. The night before, all 10 chefs coming from across the country get a mystery bottle of wine. It's actually got just aluminum foil around it, so they don't even know what color it is. They're just given their wine, and then they get to open it that night. And then you see it as soon as they get it. Their teams, they've got their sous chefs and their helpers around them, and they're smelling the wine, they're tasting it, and then the next morning they have to go shopping and fix a dish for the next night at the Shaw Center for about 400 people that best goes with this mystery wine.
So crazy.
And they have a few hours, and they start at 6 a.m., right, Yannick?
Exactly.
And they go crazy, and they have a budget. They can't spend more than $500 or something to feed 400 people, and it has to match the mystery wine perfectly.
And it works out to $1.60 per person or something crazy?
About that, and it's to die for. Delicious.
Oh, I know. Last year I was absolutely blown away. It was magnificent.
Yeah.
So then, the Culinary Championships itself, the 10 people come here. Then they have the black box competition. I think that one's rather obvious what it is, but for viewers that don't recognize what that means, what exactly is that?
It's like an Iron Chef competition. They have 1 hour. They open a box. They have about 7 or 8 mystery ingredients. They have to identify each one within about 10 minutes, and they have to tell the judges, this is what I'm going to prepare with these ingredients. Then they have 50 minutes to prepare it for the judges. So and the sweat's pouring off their faces, and they're throwing stuff around. It's exactly like what you see on TV when the chefs are competing in the Iron Chef type of competition.
Right, amazing. What have you got in front of us here, Yannick? What are you making here?
It's the comforts. The cold season's coming up, so converting a little bowl of soup that's based with vegetables from the market. I like to go and walk around the markets mornings and see what's there, what's available, and I like to go see my friend Serge on the Byware Market.
Yeah.
So this one is based with, it's called potage du Barry.
Okay.
It's a cauliflower soup, but with only vegetables. So onions, garlic, celery. It's a vegetable stock. And instead of using a cream, I did a cashew milk.
Oh, really?
So it's quite vegan.
Right.
And then we're gonna garnish it with some little special ingredients.
Okay.
So Vadovan cashews.
Yeah.
So Vadovan is it's a spice mix. And working at Le Fougère with Chef Charles Part, I learned a lot of mixing blends of spice, different types of spice. And then we have some Concord grapes, which is in season. A little bit of curry oil. So infused curry oil and some fresh mint.
Nice. Well, we'll get you started. We'll continue talking about this because the regional competition, as I said, Sylvie, is coming up on September the 25th. People can participate, right? Tickets are available. What can they expect at the competition?
Yes, there's about 400 people maximum. From what I've heard, we have about 50 tickets left.
Wow, okay.
So greatkitchenparty.com if anybody wants to go. At the Chateau Laurier, Yannick will be there. Previous Canadian champions will be there. You know, Ottawa is tied with Vancouver. We've got 4 Canadian championships, so we're a culinary city. Anyway, so September 25th, we have 6 chefs that have been chosen by a panel of judges here in Ottawa. And Yannick's been through it, he knows. So they will prepare one dish on September 25th, but we have a number of other things that we offer the guests. We have mocktails, cocktails, wines, beers, and of course they get to go to the 6 chef stations and taste everything.
And some of the best wines in the country, right? This isn't just any wines that people are tasting at the event.
So these 10 events provide the best showcase in Canada of top Canadian wines. We do only wines from Canada, and we feature them at the Canadian Culinary Championships as well. And so with the 10 events and the Canadian Championships, it's really a nice showcase for our wine growers in Canada.
All right, so let's pretend this is cooked up a little bit here, right? Just, you know, it's live television, you know, and move along a little bit. So, I mean, working at Canada's Supreme Court as the executive chef, what has that experience been like, Yannick?
You know, you always got to look on the positive side of things and always learning. That's what the beauty of cooking is, you know.
Yeah.
Every day you try to learn, try to taste new things, do new contacts.
Right.
You know, it's important to always meet up new people, and you know, cooking for the judges. Yes, they're always judging, but there's one lawyer that told me before heading into the Supreme Court, she says, Yannick, don't worry, everybody tastes underneath their nose. So
everyone does taste the same,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter who you are. You could be the Prime Minister, you could be a Supreme Court judge. Everyone's the exact same. What is the criteria, Sylvie, of choosing the chefs here in Ottawa regionally? How does that work?
So we have a number of local judges. One runs the Algonquin College culinary program and is a previous chef. And we have former Canadian champion twice, Marc Lépine of Atelier is one of our judges as well. So we have a few chefs who are our judges, and we have a few other culinary experts. And what they do is they do an evaluation of the top restaurants in Ottawa, but they like to have a mix of previous participants who are like in the top, whose restaurants we know very well, with a few up-and-comers. And what Yannick was mentioning to me when he looked at the list of chefs, he said there's a really nice mix. You know, we have
absolutely.
We have Peruvian and we have East Asian and whatnot. So it's a really nice mix.
Thanks to you both. Really appreciate you joining us. I'll let you finish that. But before we go to break, Canada's Great Kitchen Party, Ottawa Regional Competition, September the 25th, and you can email ottawa@greatkitchenparty.com. Only 50 tickets left, so make sure you get your tickets because they will sell out. We'll be right back after this.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Every year, dozens of Canadians are killed or seriously injured because they take risks around railway tracks. Talk to your loved ones about rail safety. Visit stoptracktragedies.ca.
Kids these days, people say we lack initiative.
And technology, that we're all addicted.
Kids these days, we hear that we only care about ourselves. Apparently, we're lazy.
And don't seem to have any sense of independence.
Actually, kids these days are facing a lot.
Because the world has changed, and so have our health issues. Kids these days, we could really use your help. Join CHIO in our biggest fundraising campaign ever to transform pediatric care.
20 bucks. 20 bucks. Hi guys, it's Maggie, Mrs. Calabash and Derek. And whoa, we're back. Rogers Television, so please watch us on Rogers Television. We've just done our first show. It was Anytime Shrimp Special and an Asian salad. So please, remember, Rogers Television, Mrs. Calabash cooks. I'll see you guys.
Get front row seats to Music and Beyond's unforgettable summer festival. Experience world-class concerts, mesmerizing performances, and much more. Music and Beyond presents a new season on Rogers TV.
With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to the show. Switching gears, we'll get back to a little bit of food, but you'll probably recognize the voice of my next guest. As a matter of fact, she's got to leave to give you your traffic report coming up. Kath Thompson joins me. She is one of the organizers of the Canadensis Garden Fall Celebration. Welcome. Great to have you here,
Thank you.
Kath.
So great to be here.
Canadensis, we were just looking this up, you and I, right?
Yes, it's a botanical term. It means of Canada.
So probably like native plants and flowers and trees of Canada.
And so it seemed like a good idea for a botanical garden to call it Canadensis.
And that is interesting too. You know, just doing the research and the information that was sent to me, I was, I guess, surprised and not surprised, Kath, that we're the only G20 country in the entire world without a botanical garden in its nation's capital.
That's
correct. Seems strange to me.
And I did the research myself as we were starting to discuss this years ago, and it's true. So it's time. All the national museums are here, and a botanical garden is a kind of museum. It's a living, growing museum. So it makes sense for it to be here in the national capital. And, you know, it's a beautiful city. We have so much green space here, and to have a botanical garden on, we hope, the site of the Central Experimental Farm. Did you know that there was a plan when the experimental farm was set up, 1888, and part of the plan was a botanical garden. It's always been in the plan. So while some people may say, oh, that's a new idea, it's not.
Right.
It's part of a bigger heritage that we're...
And not only that, Kath, I would say, you know, I worked in Montreal for 4 years, and, you know, there's so many benefits to having a botanical garden. It's not just about people that are interested in gardening. Let's touch on that a little bit.
Great place for community, I would say. Community, learning, welcoming space. We see now that there are doctors who are writing prescriptions for green space time. It's so important to our health and well-being. A botanical garden gives us an opportunity to give a learning experience involved with that, and playtime. It's also a great place for cultural events. There's so many gardens that offer, you know, a night at the opera or pumpkin celebrations. So a botanical garden is not just for people who have green thumbs. It is for people who like green things.
Oh, and especially living in a cold climate like we do, to go to a botanical garden in the winter, it just kind of revives you, you know? Like I told you, I went like 5 or 6 times to the Montreal Botanical Garden, and it just, there's something about it, just gives you that energy. But let's talk about this fall celebration. We've got the 4th annual fall celebration coming up at the Experimental Farm. What have we got planned this year?
Well, it's bigger and better this year. Every year, it's we add a little bit more. So at the heart of it is botanical. If you are a gardener, or as I would say, garden curious, great place to come. We have the Ontario Horticultural Association is their District 2, which is our district. We also have the Nepean Horticultural Association and the Master Gardeners of Ottawa Carleton. So you want advice, they've got advice. And in past years, their table has been packed with people.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
So that's going to be there. We also love celebrating art in the garden. So we have, I think we're up to nearly 30 exhibiting artists, and all the artwork that they're bringing with them for you to see or to buy if you like is all botanical themed.
Okay.
So we have Foyer Gallery returning, new to us this year, Art Visuel de Gatineau, Art in the Neighborhood, some others who are going to be there. And Gail Hermick, she is the most amazing sculptor, and we have these two beautiful pieces of hers. One is called Red Stiletto, and the other is called A Stitch in Time. So she's going to be there. So as you wander the garden, she can talk to you about...
So these are like big art installations that you're talking about.
Big pieces, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, we're just seeing, by the way, some of the art here. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, there's Art in the Neighborhood. All of they're a collective of artists who are going to be with us. They're fabulous. For the kids,
yes,
million things to do.
This is the thing I want to make sure people understand. It is family focused, right?
Family and free.
Yes.
Perfect.
My favorite four-letter word.
Free admission, free parking, free activities. We have horse-drawn wagon rides, Cundall Stables from down by Market. They always come out every year. Yeah. Also, we have a scavenger hunt that takes you all over the site. And when you come back, you'll get some sunflower seeds, a little pot, some seeds, some soil, so you can take that away and plant it. Nice. We have a great, I think I saw it on there, we have a great craft this year. It's you go and forage your rock and your leaves, and we're going to help you make a scary Halloween monster rock to take away.
Good timing, yeah.
So that'll be lots of fun. So we have giant hay bales, so we love watching what the kids do. We're pretty free with letting them rearrange them and make forts and all kinds of things, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I mean, the importance of this too is not only the introduction of, you know, getting back to nature, it's also the introduction of telling people how important it is, right, to focus on nature, getting outside, bringing something like a botanical garden. So is that a bit of a focus then at the event?
Yes,
to
we'll
bring
tell
those
you.
elements?
Yeah, and we'll tell you about our plans for a botanical garden. We'll walk you through the site. We have all kinds of people talking about just the importance of being outside. I mean, come on, it'll be a beautiful fall day. And we'll celebrate art, we'll celebrate, you know, gardening, we'll have just a great day. And also we have a native trees nursery on the property.
Right.
So native trees meaning they've always grown here. And it's important to preserve those seeds, and we are doing that. So because it is National Tree Day on Saturday, September 28th, we are going to take some of our seedlings that are ready from our tree nursery, and we're going to plant them in their new homes on the site. And we will celebrate National Tree Day, which a lot of activities going on. And here in Ottawa, it involves Tree Canada and Ecology Ottawa, so it's a great program.
Two great organizations. You've got music that's happening on site as well.
Thanks.
You're going to have some fantastic music. Really appreciate taking the time. I know you've got a busy day ahead of you here, Kath, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you. By the way, the Garden Fall Celebration Experimental Farm, as Kath just said, September 28th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can find out more information and the entire schedule at jardin-canadensisgarden.ca. Say that 3 times fast. We'll be back with more right after this. More food coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere.
This is a man's heart, a heart in desperate need of medical attention. But because 78% of Indigenous people experience racism in healthcare, he may not get the help he needs. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
Heartbeat of Mother Earth, I feel you and embrace your warmth. I see you dancing through the trees. Your song floats on the summer breeze. Community, we come together. We are the voice of our ancestors. Thankful for how much you bless us. Feel the thunder in the drum. All our voices sing as one. Feel the power, feel the pride. Feel the drumbeat deep inside. Feel the boom, feel the bass. Let's let go of time and space. It'll make you dance, it'll make you sing. Ode Wegun, Wedok Wishin. The drum will lead you, take you far. Always remember who you are.
Hi, I'm Sam LaPrade, host of Ottawa Business Matters. We're going to gather here every single week and speak about business here in the capital. We're going to inspire, influence, and inform.
Are you a content creator looking to expand your audience and make your voice heard in your community? Rogers TV wants to provide you with a platform to share your hobbies, interests, and stories for free. Visit us to find out more.
Hey, welcome back to the show. This is a great segue. We're talking about botanical garden and how Ottawa, as the nation's capital, should have one. Well, my next guest, pretty much has his own botanical garden that you can visit, and it's an amazing event space. And they brought on one of the best chefs in the entire city and the entire country to join them to do something really new and unique in the area. I'm joined by Nicholas Bott. He's the co-founder of Aquatopia, and Neil Mather, who is the executive chef and food and beverage director. Welcome to you both. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Nicholas, I'm on your website, and I'm looking at all the things. Like when Neil reached out to me, he's like, yeah, we got to bring some food. And I'm on your website going, you guys don't do food from what I've seen. I mean, tell me a little bit about. Yeah, I know, but the concept is so far-reaching. Tell me about
garden
the business.
Centers are where the food is, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
in Europe, this is not unusual.
Right.
You'll go to in England, and there'll be the best restaurants are in the garden centers. So we built this conservatory as a tropical conservatory, highlighting, because we started off doing natural swimming pools and spas and water gardens.
Right.
And when we built a new facility as sort of like a water garden lifestyle showcase, we said, okay, this is going to be really expensive.
Right.
So we need an alternate business model to help underwrite the cost of this thing. So a friend of ours down in Detroit, he had done conservatory space and started doing weddings and events, corporate events and private parties. And so we, in the past decade, have been building up this amazing wedding and events department. A really talented team. I can't take any credit for what they specifically do.
Right.
Like my wife and I kind of pinch ourselves and can't believe we actually own the place. And
nice.
So the culinary team make this beautiful food every weekend, but then Monday to Friday, there's really nothing going on during the day.
Right.
So I was speaking to another chef in town here who does some kosher catering, and he said, you should be doing some other things for catering. So we looked around and came across a concept with a couple of companies that are doing it, one specifically in Montreal, where we noticed the way people are doing catering now for corporate is it's kind of a little antiquated in a lot of cases. Like the big platters with sandwiches and crudités that people used to get.
Yeah.
That really doesn't fly anymore because of food preferences and allergies.
Absolutely.
So if we look at our own events business, you know, you go back a decade ago, out of 150 people for a corporate event or a wedding, you might have one, maybe two people that have a food allergy.
Right.
And now,
or a dietary restriction.
Or a preference. And now it's more like 10 to 20 at least. So corporate catering is very difficult to cater for a crowd, even for a light lunch, because everybody has different food preferences or allergies. And then the other thing too is that these big platters, after the first 4 or 5 sandwiches come off of it, they start to look messy.
They do. They do. And it doesn't get all of it eaten. There's a lot of waste oftentimes involved in something like that as well.
Yeah.
Right?
So our team got together and came up with kind of the sort of the bento box kind of concept where you have a lunch where it's all packaged in a nice individual portion. People order online through a portal. There's less waste. You get a higher quality product on the output. And if they don't eat it all, they can take it home and enjoy it at home afterwards.
And then the food side of it, that's where this guy comes in. Neil, so how did the two of you connect?
Well, we hired him. We needed a chef.
You stole them away from another place.
Yeah, so
okay.
I mean, like I was saying earlier, it's a really great location because it's near where I am too.
Yeah.
And then we run this business is run out of the Mitel Networks building in Canada, which is 10 minutes from my house, and then the other one is Carp and the March Road and the 417.
Yeah.
So and the wedding business that they built, this whole business that they built is unbelievable.
I couldn't believe it.
So
I mean,
cool.
you got to go on the website, by the way, everybody at home, and just look at the space. It's absolutely unbelievable.
So
what
this
have you brought with you?
This is a new thing. So I brought a few examples, but this one here I'm just going to build one quick for you. This is one of the poke bowls, and it's a blackened shrimp poke bowl. We've got a little bit. The one thing is, when you order this, you order individually, right?
Yeah,
so people,
exactly.
like we're saying, people have special dietary needs or whatever. You're ordering it just for you. So you go on the website, you order by 2 o'clock. The next day it'll be delivered. You can pick 3 different times. So like today we did 3 caterings inside of one of the buildings in the tech park. Okay. And it was for different people are having meetings,
you might have
or
a
they're
dozen,
in their
you
office.
might have 20 people, and as you said, like everybody likes something different. They might feel like something different, one day to the next, and this is a great way to do that.
So this blackened shrimp, it has a pickled red cabbage. We got a little candied pecans and quinoa.
Nice.
And then that comes with a little lime vinaigrette, lime dressing, which will come on the side, and you put it on yourself. So that's one example.
Fantastic.
And then we've got here's a vegan one.
Yeah, you got some noodles in there, some beans in there.
So this is a tofu bowl actually. So obviously lots of vegan action these days.
Right. Yeah.
So you got soya noodles and a little bit of soybean. You get your dressing with it. This one here is a roasted salmon bowl.
While he's doing that, Nick, I just asked you, can people just drop by the space and just enjoy the space?
If they would just want to drop in, our showroom is open to the public between 8 and 1 o'clock from Tuesday to Saturdays.
Okay.
The staff is usually doing other activities like producing events or doing projects or maintenance on the building and the plant collection and everything outside of those times. But they're more than welcome to come in anytime and just cruise around. And
that's amazing. I cannot wait to visit.
We're kind of we do a lot all tropicals, so we're kind of like the crack cocaine dealer for plant people.
Right. Exactly.
Nice.
I'm trying to keep my wife away from the place.
I can understand.
All my paycheck.
Just 30 seconds left. Obviously, the usual sandwiches and salads.
So you got like a chicken focaccia bowl. You got a roasted turkey wrap. Comes already with a salad. You got a Greek salad, a little pasta, a little dessert, your own. Knife and fork and everything there, so it's individual. And then, like you said, if you eat half of that, you're having a meeting and there's like 15 of you, and then you only eat half, you just put the lid on it, you can take it home. It's all recyclable. And then we still do some platters. Sometimes people want crudité or...
yeah, exactly. Like a little something and to add to your meal and to share. Guys, this is just a great introduction to a great experience.
Now you won't go hungry.
Thanks to you both. And I won't go
for you guys to try.
Aquatopia.world/catering. You can just go to aquatopia.world, find out all the information, have a look at the space, and as Nick said, you can drop by and visit during those times. We'll be back with more right after this.
The Order of Ottawa celebrates outstanding citizens. Recipients come from diverse backgrounds. They make exceptional contributions in many areas of city life. They are advocates for minorities. They are media experts and visionaries in community building, innovators in healthcare, leaders in education. They are technology leaders and entrepreneurs. They entertain us. They are passionate about arts and culture. They are outstanding citizens and members of the Order of Ottawa. Who inspires you? Who will you nominate?
October 5th, 2014, my daughter was hit by a train. She was walking along the sides of the tracks, and it shattered her world.
I walk for my partner who is on dialysis.
I walk in memory of my dad,
I walk for all those waiting for a kidney transplant.
I walk because I live with kidney disease. When you participate in the kidney walk or support someone who does, you're taking steps and providing hope to thousands of Canadians living with kidney disease. Behind every step, there's someone we walk for.
Who will you be walking for?
Who will you be walking for?
Who will you be walking for? Register or donate at kidneywalk.ca.
Watch Podium exclusively on Rogers TV.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
I recognize your name. Hey, welcome back to the show. From one great food concept to another. Oh my goodness, I'm so spoiled today, and you're spoiled as viewers because this concept's so interesting. And the great part of this is you can actually help and encourage and support something that I think, again, is a unique experience here in the Ottawa-Gatineau region. I'm joined by Derek Cotman. He is the CEO and founder of My Catering Group. Welcome. Great to have you here,
Thanks for having me, Derek.
First of all, tell me a little bit about My Catering Group, a little of the history behind it.
Yeah, so it's been around for a little over 10 years. It was started in my mom's kitchen in Stittsville, and it's grown over the last decade to be one of the bigger catering operations in the city. We do lots of off-site catering, and we're actually the first local company that's had every single downtown core museum contract under their belt at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, as well as the National Gallery for a few years as well. So we were operating 4 at the same time. And now we're currently operating in the History, War, and Nature Museum. Day-to-day cafe services, and then external catering as well.
Congratulations. That is amazing. I did not know that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
incredible. That. And you've got another new, unique experience that you're going to be offering. Tell everybody about it.
Yeah, so in December of last year, we acquired the Chelsea Vineyard and Sugar Bush.
Okay.
So we'd always been kind of thinking it was a good idea to invest in a wedding venue, and the right opportunity came up. So we worked really hard last year to make that happen, and we've been hard at work ever since. We did our first Sugar Shack season last year. We were able to produce syrup. We're growing vegetables on the property.
Nice.
We've done lots of weddings, corporate events.
So is it a working vineyard?
It is not a working vineyard yet. So the previous owners had full intention of producing wine, and they never quite got it to that point. But we do intend on reviving the grapes, and in 3 to 4 years be producing wine out there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So are there still plants there, or you have to start sort of from scratch?
No, they are still there. They weren't maintained super well over the past 5 years.
Right.
So we're working to get a plan in place to be able to prune and retrellis the vines that are there and get them into a production state.
And you need help in doing this, right? I mean,
it's
it's costly to start something new.
Absolutely.
You have a great event coming up. Tell me a little bit about that event.
Yeah, so the event actually is to raise funds for our new Sugar Bush redo, basically. So we're revamping the whole Sugar Shack. So new evaporators, new tubes in the woods, renovations to the building and all that kind of thing.
Right.
And we were fortunate enough to get a grant from the Quebec government.
Okay.
But there's a catch. We need to crowdfund the amount of money that they're going to give us.
Okay, so you have to match it?
Exactly,
is the idea?
yeah.
Okay,
and the platform is called La Ruche. It is a Quebec government-based platform for crowdfunding that's backed by Desjardins.
Oh, okay.
And so we have to raise the funds through their platform. And when we hit our goal, they'll match it, and then we'll be using those funds in the Sugar Shack project.
And you're bringing other producers from the area as well on board, right,
absolutely.
for this? So you brought some of the product along with you here. Tell me what we've got in front of us here.
That's it. So we've got 4 partners and local producers that are going to be involved in this. So we've got the distillery De Square, and we're going to be making some really nice cocktails out of their spirits and some of the honey and the syrup that we've got from the property, as well as some of our dried herbs.
Nice.
We've got the Chelsea Brewery, Chelsea & Co. They're going to be coming with their beer tasting van. So they're going to be sort of sampling all their beers. We're doing a little bit of a food pairing with that. We're going to have our food truck out in the vines with their van. So we've got that. And then Apiver here. So it's a bee co-op, and they take care of managing all the honeybees on the property. And then they'll package it up for us in any way that we want. So for smaller jars or just big tubs to use in our commercial applications throughout the catering business. So we're doing that with both the syrup and the honey.
You brought a little something to prepare here with you today as well. What have you got here?
Yeah, so one of our, a couple of our chefs have designed a menu item that is going to be one of the featured menu items on the day of this event that we're having. And it's going to sort of resemble an item from the menu that we're going to launch next year for a high-end Sugar Shack dinner.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll put it together here.
Yeah. Walk me through it.
So what they have done here is they've made a mushroom soil here. So this has dehydrated mushrooms, panko breadcrumbs, and a bit of soy sauce.
All right.
And the thought process from the chef within our organization that designed it was that this would sort of represent like the terroir of the vineyard, right? So we do actually have a mushroom forest growing. We've inoculated a bunch of logs with mushrooms. So in a couple of years, we're going to see all that come to fruition.
This is awesome.
And then this is a mushroom sort of crema.
Okay.
So we'll just do a few little dots of that on the plate here. And then what they had done is they had dehydrated some of the beets that were actually grown on the vineyard's property, but were from Juniper Farms.
Okay.
So Juniper Farms is the fourth partner that we're going to be featuring on the 29th, and they gave us a bunch of seedlings to start, our garden out there.
Nice.
So yeah, so once these beets have been dehydrated a bit, they the sugars really kind of come through a lot, and it has almost a bit of a gummy texture. So, you've got your crispy, bit of a gummy texture. The mushroom crema comes in quite well, and then they've pickled some little enoki mushrooms here.
Okay.
So they'll have a bit of a pickled taste on top.
Or something, but I can tell now. Yeah, they got the
they look a little
mushroom
noodly. And then I'll just sort of top it off with some microgreens here. So this will be one of the dishes that people can experience during our
and that's
event.
coming up September 29th,
September
4 to
29th,
8 p.m.
4 to 8 p.m. Yep. So we're going to have, like I say, 6 different dishes, and it's going to be food stations all around the property. So we're going to really encourage people to explore the property.
Right.
And it's going to be very interactive. Like, for example, the Apiver is going to be there, and they're going to be doing a honey tasting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We've also got some wines being sourced from the eastern townships of Quebec that have the same varietals of grapes that we have at the vineyard.
I see.
So in theory, it could be what, we could be drinking in a few years from now.
Best way to get tickets, Derek?
Best way to get tickets is actually head to our website, so mycateringgroup.com.
Yeah.
And we put a little link on the front page, so you can't miss it. And that will take you to the LaRush crowdfunding website, and it will have our campaign right there.
And everyone, you can help build this incredibly unique experience. Thank you so much. Really
Thank you
appreciate
very much. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate your parents spelling your name, Derek, correctly with one R-I-C-K.
Very few of us.
There are very few of us. We'll be back with more right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Johnny wanted to go back home. It was 1,000 kilometers away. They forced him to go to the Indian residential school. More than 150,000 of us children had to go. They wanted to change us.
Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name.
Hallowed be your name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
Kill the Indian and the child.
Hey!
It's been called cultural genocide. I survived residential school. My brother Johnny did not.
Chani Wenjack was one of thousands of children who died due to Canada's residential school system. More than 80,000 survivors and their families still live with its legacy today.
Join us for season 4 of Simply Cooking by Chef, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, right here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to the show. As I mentioned off the top, we're talking about a couple of serious topics on the show today. And our next topic is about bladder cancer. And Bladder Cancer Canada has their big walk coming up, and we're going to give you all the details on that and also talk to a bladder cancer survivor. I'm joined by Hugh Connolly. Hugh, welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me on the show.
My pleasure. Let's go back to sort of those first signs and symptoms for you, Hugh, before we get to that diagnosis. What were some of those signs for you?
Well, I guess it was the summer of 2016, and the first time I noticed that there was blood in my urine, I kind of passed it off, which probably wasn't the best thing to do. And then the second time, I thought, oh, I better go in and see the family doctor. And then I got referred to a specialist, and sure enough, I had tumors in my bladder. Okay. And I then went through process of having some of them removed. They came back. They tried a BCG treatment, and that was unsuccessful. So in April of 2017, I had my bladder removed. They took part of my intestine, and they formed what they call a neobladder, or an artificial bladder. And to some extent, after the recovery from the large 11.5-hour surgery, wow. The major issue is that I have to pee on the clock.
Okay.
Because it's an artificial bladder, won't indicate that I have to pee, and you don't want to stretch it. So I use an old iPhone and a triathlete watch and set alarms on them, right. And that works.
Yeah, and I mean, has it changed your lifestyle outside of just making sure that 3 hours is scheduled consistently?
No, not really, and that's one of the big things about bladder cancer. Even if you do wind up with your bladder removed, you go back to a normal living with either a neobladder, or in some instances, you'll have an external bag to collect urine.
Right.
And there's pluses and minuses in both, but you can resume normal activity. I mean, even if you had an external bag, you could still go swimming, for example.
Right,
and
yeah.
So
what's the prevalence of bladder cancer here in this country? Do you know?
It's the 5th most common cancer for Canadians, and it's the 4th for men. And there's about 12,000 people that are diagnosed every year. It's really critical that you keep track of the color of your urine.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's red, you got to get in to see a doctor, because you have more treatment options if the earlier it's detected.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. I guess that's probably one of the most important things we want to get across to our viewers today, is early detection is essential, right?
Yeah, and males are particularly kind of not as careful with their health as maybe we should be.
I've been there, yeah.
So
I know exactly what you're talking. I should say my wife knows exactly what you're talking about. Absolutely.
I mean, it affects both males and females, but females tend to be more diligent about their health than males do. So.
I mentioned as well the walk is coming up. Before we get to that, I understand you're part of a bladder cancer support group here in Ottawa. Tell me how they've helped you through all of this.
Yeah, we're really blessed in Ottawa. We have Snooki set up a bladder cancer group probably over a decade ago, and it basically is people who are at the beginning of the process and people who are survivors and people who are partway through the process. And it's really useful to give critical advice to people as to whether or not they should, for example, choose a neobladder, an artificial bladder, or an external bag, and to help them through the process of recovery, and to exchange information about basically living with bladder cancer.
Right.
You know, either you're going through, you've still got your bladder, but you're going through treatments and checkups, or you don't have your bladder, and how that affects your life and what you could and couldn't do.
You know, the two treatments that you have mentioned seem like the most invasive. Are there less invasive treatments if you do detect them sooner, or are there different types of bladder cancers?
There are two drugs that can be injected into you.
Okay.
They inject it through your urethra into your bladder, and BCG is one, and Myosin C is the other, and sometimes they're effective and they reduce the tumors, and you're simply on an annual or a biannual checkup to ensure that tumors don't come back. There's also immune therapy, and there's some new equipment that helps to detect bladder cancer tumors. And one of the reasons the walk's so important is those funds have put those new initiatives into effect basically since I was diagnosed.
Right, right. Yeah, so let's talk about the walk. How do people get involved, and what does registration look like?
We're at the Chateau Laurier, and we're down in the basement. There's a room. There's instructions how to get there. You can register and donate, and there's then we go for a walk through the market, and it's about 5 clicks, I think, and we usually take a picture at the Ottawa sign, and it's an opportunity to come together and to donate, and there's a bit of activity too. So.
Yeah, and it's a casual walk, right? It's not, you know, a walk-run kind of competition or anything, just a casual walk, and you know, obviously get to meet others that, right, have gone through this, or, you know, for instance, you know, there's the other people that have supported them throughout this. I mean, I'm sure you've had incredible support even outside of, you know, the Ottawa Bladder Cancer Support Group itself, right?
Yeah, Bladder Cancer Canada has pretty good information that you can download on their website that takes you through the process and after the process.
Right, right. Hugh, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
It's my pleasure. Again, Canada Walks for Bladder Cancer, Ottawa, Fairmont, Chateau Laurier. September 21st, registration begins at 9 a.m. You can register beforehand online as well at bccwalk.ca. You just have to go there and find Ottawa on the website. We'll be back with more right after this.
Kids these days, people say we lack initiative.
And technology, that we're all addicted.
Kids these days, we hear that we only care about ourselves. Apparently, we're lazy.
And don't seem to have any sense of independence.
Actually, kids these days are facing a lot because the world has changed, and so have our health issues. Kids these days, we could really use your help. Join CHIO in our biggest fundraising campaign ever to transform pediatric care.
Learn all about the creation of the National Capital Region on The History of Ottawa, according to Phil Jenkins, on Rogers TV.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
Hello, I'm Liz Dowdswell, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. In 2008, carbon monoxide, a deadly invisible gas, killed an entire family in our province. That tragedy led to a new law requiring homes with potential CO sources to have alarms. John Gignac's family members passed away that day, and he shares his story to save others.
please make sure you have working CO alarms in your home. Protect your family today.
Hi, I'm Sam LaPratte. I hope you join us for an hour to give right here on Rogers TV. We're going to talk about everything that is going to inspire you about this beautiful city.
Every year, dozens of Canadians are killed or seriously injured because they take risks around railway tracks. Talk to your loved ones about rail safety. Visit stoptracktragedies.ca.
Welcome back to the show. Back to talk about the deafblind community and some of the great resources that are available to them. This is a great opportunity to raise awareness for the greater community as well. I'm joined by Josée Poirier. She is Regional Manager with CNIB Deafblind Community Services Ontario East. Welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Derek.
It's a pleasure.
Great.
It's a pleasure. You and I are having a great conversation before we came live here. But for those that aren't familiar, when we say deafblind, what do we mean exactly, Josée?
So deafblind is really dual sensory loss for hearing and vision loss. And it has all kinds of parameters. So it could be acquired, it could be cognitive. When I say that, it could be at birth, or when I say acquired is they develop deaf, like hearing loss or loss of vision as we get older.
And that doesn't mean necessarily 100% of each, right?
Correct. I really don't want to get into that type of percentage because I'm not the medical professional in those fields. But definitely, when someone thinks of the idea of deafblind, it's not necessarily I can't hear anything, I can't see anything. There is a barrier of you accessing that information in your environment, the sounds. It's just a loss of the sensory that your body has.
Yeah, and we should, as a greater community, have an awareness of respectfully communicating or not communicating. I want you said you had a good example of that.
Yeah, I feel sometimes this morning, just, you're out at the store, and a perfect example would be, say, if you're out with your partner and you're out in the store and you're having a conversation, you're like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. But then imagine not having that in the first place, having that ability to fully understand the communication, the information that is provided to you. So an intervener service is really someone that would guide the individual that has vision and hearing loss to navigate their environment. So as we're walking into a building, we can give them cues and details about the environment in the moment. What is coming up to them? What did they just pass? We sometimes take for granted that I walk into Walmart and I will say, I see a woman walking by me, I'm like, oh, I love that pink top. I'm gonna, where did you get that? Sometimes, but here, just because you have that sensory loss does not mean that you wouldn't appreciate saying, there's a woman that's standing next, just walked by, she had a beautiful pink top on.
Right.
We talk about, we get all this sensory, where if you are having you have, I should say, low vision or hearing loss, you might not hear that baby, giggling when you're going shopping at Walmart.
Right.
Or, you might miss out on that act of kindness, or even to the point that if you're walking outside and then maybe you're walking and there's a dog that got loose, and then you might not see that, or you might not hear that. So there are all the spectrums of things.
You can't take it for granted, right? That dog that's loose, you just see it go by and you're not going to say anything.
Step out of the way, right?
Right, yeah.
Or you could be that dog lover, be like, come here.
So an intervener, then they're basically, it's a profession.
It is.
Right? That I guess gets hired out by those in the deafblind community?
So not yes and no. So they are special. They're specially trained individuals.
Right.
And they come from all kinds, like human services. It could be social work. It could be attending the intervener programs out in the province. It could be nursing. Could be personal support workers. It could be someone that's just loving to work with human services in general.
Right.
The idea is they specialize in being like I said, their eyes and ears. So we provide the training. So collectively, we offer, every individual, I should say, has a unique way to communicate.
Right.
And it's not you know, it's not a cookie cutter situation. We're all unique individuals. We all communicate differently. So it really is a service plan directly for you. So if the best way for me to communicate with you is using American Sign Language, well, we're gonna make sure that our staff are skilled to provide you that communication. If the communication is best in, you know, two-hand manual, I'm not, you know, just explaining every single person will have different varieties of vision loss. Someone could have vision loss and you can still talk with them voice over.
Yeah,
So it really is these individuals who are absolutely amazing and passionate and empathetic people that I work with. Oh, I got goosebumps. They're fantastic. They do.
Well, I mean, you have to be.
They make
right?
their lives so much better.
Yeah.
But who's responsible in making their lives better is yourself, our clients. So our service is really to support individuals to navigate their life independently, confidently. We're empowering them to be independent. And we can sometimes take for granted, and I think sometimes go, you know what? I've been at home, I want to get in my car and just drive. If I have a significant vision loss and hearing loss, I cannot be behind a wheel.
Right. Yeah, things that we take for granted. Right?
Forgot a cup of sugar.
The prevalence,
you know, kind of thing.
do we have statistics here in this province?
We do. In Ontario, I'm taking statistics from Stat Canada from, let's say, 2022.
Okay.
So there was about approximately just over 100,000 individuals that identify as deaf-blind. So that's a significant amount of people.
Very significant amount.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, the deafblindservices.ca, they have all the resources and information available and for people to sort of navigate and see how they can help and get themselves some resources right in their region.
Absolutely. And if you want to learn more about interveners, you can also just, you know, Google. We're all famous at doing access intervener services, and it'll navigate whatever area you're in. So,
excellent.
yeah.
Jose, thanks so much for this. Really appreciate it. A great way to raise awareness. Again, deafblindservices.ca, and as she said, interveners, you can just Google it and find out more information. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this.
Get front row seats to Music and Beyond's unforgettable summer festival. Experience world-class concerts, mesmerizing performances, and much more. Music and Beyond presents a new season on Rogers TV.
With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
Hi, I'm Sam LaPrade, host of Ottawa Business Matters. We're going to gather here every single week and speak about business here in the capital. We're going to inspire, influence, and inform.
Are you a content creator looking to expand your audience and make your voice heard in your community? Rogers TV wants to provide you with a platform to share your hobbies, interests, and stories for free. Visit us to find out more.
Let's talk about some of those events. Canada's Great Kitchen Party, the Ottawa Regional Competition, that is coming up September 25th at the Fairmont Chateau Laurier. As Sylvie Bigras said earlier in the show, about only 50 tickets left. They only sell about 400, so 50 tickets left. You can visit or email actually ottawa@greatkitchenparty.com to find out more information. You can go to greatkitchenparty.com and find out all you need to know about this incredible culinary competition. Kenna Dennis Garden Fall celebration at the Experimental Farm. It's going to be absolutely amazing for the entire family. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. September 28th for that one. Canada Walks for Bladder Cancer Ottawa. The Ottawa one happening again at the Fairmont Chateau Laurier. That's where registration is at 9 a.m. and you walk all around the downtown core. It's a beautiful walk. bccwalk.ca to register and find out more information. As I said, you can also register the day of at 9 a.m. And Party with a Purpose in Chelsea there, Le Vignoble de Chelsea, September 29th, 4 to 8 p.m. mycateringgroup.com to get your tickets and help support them. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on Daytime.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Hi, I'm Paula Roy, and it's my pleasure to welcome you back into my kitchen for another season of Paula Roy's Favorite Foods. My approach to food is pretty straightforward. Fancy is fine, but when you're in a time crunch or have a really hungry and patient family to feed, I say simple recipes made with wholesome ingredients that you probably have on hand are the best. And that's exactly what you'll find on Paula Roy's Favorite Foods on Rogers TV.
Join us Monday to Friday on Daytime Ottawa as we showcase some of the fabulous things that are happening in your city. We'll showcase